The biggest question I get whenever I post a video about leaving a career as a woman in midlife and how I left my corporate career at 54 is, how do you afford it? And a lot of times people get irate with me because they say that they can't afford it, and they assume that I must have a wealthy partner who is supporting me, or an inheritance, or $1 million in the bank. And those things just were not true. I did have some money saved that I saved on my own, and by the end I will share exactly how much I had when I left my job. But I'm also going to share how, with careful planning, some simple mindset shifts, and smart money management, I was able to leave my corporate job and feel financially secure enough to do so at 54, and how most likely you can too. Hey, I am Tess, and this channel is for women over 45 who feel stuck and want to reinvent themselves and live their best damn lives. So if that sounds like you, hit subscribe. So the first thing I want to talk about is planning. You need to have a plan. And actually scratch that. You need to create a plan, because a plan isn't just going to fall into your lap. It takes work. And a lot of people don't even try to do this step. They just go to the default and make the excuse and say, I'm sorry, there's legitimate fear here, and there's legitimate concerns. So I'm not saying make an excuse like you're making excuses, but I made that excuse because I didn't want to leave, because I had fear, and that was just my default. I said, I can't leave. I can't leave. I need the money. I didn't even try to really think about what else I could do and how I could make it happen. I wasn't serious about it. So you need to get serious about creating this plan for yourself. So if you think about, if you are in corporate, or if you're in whatever career, you know how to plan, you know how to execute a project. Let's just say your boss gives you a project at work and they say, we need to move into a new market and you need to figure out how to do that. You would do it. You would spend the time. You would schedule meetings. You would do research. You would create reports. You would figure it out. How, what's the most viable way to move into that new market? Or if they said, we got to cut your department's budget, so you need to figure that out. You would figure that out. You would look at the budget. You would figure out where to make cuts. You would spend time doing it. And you need to do the same for your life. If you want to leave corporate successfully and be able to afford it, you need to create a plan that will make it viable for you. And I know with me, I would maybe on vacation say, oh, I wish I could move to a remote island and and just sell jewelry on the beach. And yeah, that sounded nice, but it wasn't really a plan. Or I'd say, maybe I could freelance, but I didn't really dive into it and figure out how it could be viable. So give some thought to what else could you do to be able to make money? Because when you leave your job, clearly you probably need money. We all need money. How are you going to make that money? There are other ways. So you got to research the viability of what you're looking into. How are you going to get clients? How are you going to make it happen? How are you going to market yourself? How much money you're going to need as you ramp up? And can you supplement your income while you're building up your business or whatever it is you're trying to pursue by doing some side gigs? Maybe you offer some services on Upwork, or maybe you drive Uber. I had one woman in the comments actually say that she waitressed 3 days a week, and she was so much happier than she was at corporate just doing that. And maybe you could even start this before you leave. Start offering those services. For example, if, like, I'm a consultant, I was a marketing strategist, and then I left, and now I'm a marketing consultant, and I offer marketing services to businesses. So I actually didn't start before I left, but I could have done that just to see if it was viable, just to get some experience, just to get some testimonials from clients. If you haven't spent hours looking into this, researching it, doing the work, then you haven't really given it the shot that you need to be able to succeed. Really treat this like you mean it. It's worth it. If you are like I was, completely miserable in corporate, mental health just completely shot, it's worth the effort. Because if I hadn't quit, I would still have all that stress, anxiety, depression, burnout. I would not be a happy person, and today I'm a happy person. But it's because I created a plan and I made it happen. I didn't wait for somebody else to come save me, and I didn't think that things were going to change on their own, because I knew they weren't. And I know these are some hard truths, but sometimes that's what we need. Sometimes we need someone to kick us in the butt and say, this is what you got to do. Stop complaining about it and actually do it. And that's actually a great segue to the next thing that you need to do, and this is believing that you can. You need to shift your mindset to believe that it's possible. So probably the biggest reason that people won't even entertain the thought of leaving is because of fear. They may not realize it, but that is really what's underneath everything. And that was the case with me too. So I posted a poll to my community asking, what is the biggest thing standing in the way of you reinventing yourself and living your best life? And the number one answer was self-doubt. I think 40-something% said self-doubt. That self-doubt is fear. The fear of not being able to actually execute and pull it off. And fear is really strong. So you have to consciously train your brain to overcome that fear. It's not easy, but it is possible. Otherwise, fear is going to be the one staying in control, and you don't want that. You want courage to be in control, and it's there, but you need to find it. It does take a lot of work and discipline, and I actually have a video that I made on the 3 fears that I overcame before I left my corporate job. I have a second video also on how to shift your mindset, 3 mindset shifts that I made. So I'll link those below, and I'll put one of them up here as well, so you can check those out, because that work is essential. In fact, you cannot leave before you do this work. This is actually the number one thing. Before you create the plan, you need to shift your mindset and believe that you're able to do it. And then the other mindset shift you need to make is being determined, not giving up. So a lot of times people will, maybe they'll try at something and it won't succeed right away, and then they just give up. But the secret to successful people, and this has been confirmed time and time again, it's not that they were lucky, it's not that they were the smartest people or had the most money, it's that they were the most determined. They did not give up. So there's a book, I've talked about this book before, and I really recommend it. It is called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This is an old book actually, like from the 20s, I think, or 30s. And he studied a lot of the successful people back then, the Rockefellers, the Carnegies, and analyzed what they all have in common. And the one commonality, there were a few, but one was definitely the determination and the persistence. They kept going, no matter if they failed. They didn't let failure deter them. They kept going, they kept trying. And that's a hard thing to do. When I was younger, I remember my dad would tell me that I would give up too easily, that if I wasn't good at something right away, I would just give up. And that was whether it was chess. I remember we would play chess, and at first he would let me win, and then he started, he didn't want to just let me win all the time. He wanted to make me work for it. And so when he started doing that, then I would just quit and say I didn't like it. And softball too, I was terrible. I was terrible at softball. Not the most athletic person. So I played one season and then just quit. I just didn't keep at it. And that was me for, a big part of my life. But I finally learned that no, everybody fails. It's a very common thing. People fail. But the difference between one person and another, between a successful person and the other, is that the successful person will keep trying. They won't let that failure deter them. It's not really a failure, in fact. I think it was Thomas Edison, that said, I have not failed, I have simply found 10,000 ways it won't work. Now that is a big motivator. If Thomas Edison could try 10,000 ways to do something, then you can certainly try, and I certainly can try. Otherwise we wouldn't have damn light, right? He invented the light bulb, right? Yeah, okay. The next thing you want to do is surround yourself with like-minded people and start to research and understand what they have done to get to where they are. If you are surrounded by other people who have a scarcity mindset or are afraid to leave corporate and say that you can't or that they can't, then you're going to be in the same way. So I think there's a stat somehow. Oh, hello, train. You are the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most of your time with. So if everyone you're spending time with has a similar mindset, they have limiting beliefs, or they have scarcity mindset, they have a lot of fear, then that's going to rub off on you. So you want to surround yourself with people who actually have a growth mindset, who believe that they can do things, who maybe have done things. So this was something that was hard for me because I really didn't know a lot of people like that. So what I did was start listening to podcasts and start reading books and start watching YouTube videos of people who were successful. So maybe I wasn't able to curate a community of really successful people around me in person, but the content that I put into my brain all the time was that of successful people and learning about what they did and the secrets that they used to get to where they wanted to get to. Maybe you can join a women's entrepreneur group. I think I might have mentioned that earlier, but there may be meetups in your area where you can join groups of entrepreneurs and talk to them, or get a coach. It is really, really hard to do it alone. So I absolutely recommend building your tribe, surrounding yourself with people with similar goals or people who have already achieved those goals, because you need that support and you shouldn't have to do it alone. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the actual money part. So you do want to have money saved, right? You don't want to quit with $0 in the bank. I absolutely do not recommend that. And I will share exactly what I had in the bank when I quit, and your number might be different. You don't have to have exactly what I had. It really just depends on your goals and what's viable for you. But what you want to do is start your freedom fund. That's what I like to call it. You could call it something different. It could be your FU fund. It could be your take this job and shove it fund, or whatever it is. But actually create a separate account and start contributing to it, because this is going to be so motivating. Every time you put money in there, you're going to say, yeah, I'm contributing to my FU fund, FU corporate, FU boss, FU career, whatever it is. So now you're saying, okay, how am I going to fund it? I don't have any extra money. Well, you might, and you don't realize it. And please hear me out before you click off. So first, what you need to do is track your budget. This was something I never did. I did not track a budget. I just had the money coming in, my paycheck came in automatically, and I spent the money, and I paid my bills at the end of the month, and I made sure that I had more money in the bank account than I did spending. But I didn't really track what I was actually spending my money on, because once you do, it's shocking sometimes to see what you're spending your money on. So you want to create a line item budget where you know exactly what are you spending on groceries, what are you spending on eating out, what are you spending on travel or vacations, what are you spending on coffee. Create these categories for yourself so you know where your money is going. You will most likely be able to cut somewhere. So here's what I did. I stopped buying coffee outside. I stopped going to coffee shops to buy my coffee, and I started making my own pour over coffee. I invested in a coffee grinder and a funnel and a filter. And I did still buy the fancy beans from the coffee shops because my palate was now attuned to having this yummy, delicious coffee. But those beans were like $18 for a bag and it would last me 2 months. That's a lot better than $6 a day on coffee. Another cut I made was I stopped coloring my hair. Well, I color my hair, don't get me wrong. I've got plenty of gray hair. I do that myself. I used to get a balayage like a couple times a year, which is kind of like highlights. And that was like $350. And I finally just realized, I don't need to do that. Yeah, I liked it, but I didn't need it. So I made a cut there. I do my own roots. And I also downgraded my stylist. So I found a stylist that actually cuts hair for $30, which was a lot less than the $75 I was paying. Is she the best stylist? No, but she's fine. She's all right. And I bought some hair cutting scissors also, and I cut my own bangs. So those were some cuts that I was able to make. Oh, and I also stopped eating out as much. I was spending a ton of money eating out, mostly because I was tired. I get it, but I finally, I prioritized leaving corporate, that was my prioritization because my mental health was suffering and my mental health became my biggest priority. So I made those cuts on eating out, started eating at home more so I could fund my FU fund, my freedom fund. So whatever you make cuts in, then you want to funnel that into your savings account, and it needs to be a high yield savings account. I have talked about this in a video before, not your regular bank savings. It needs to be a high yield savings account. Please look this up. Please find one. There are plenty. It is FDIC insured, so your money will be protected. It is just an online savings that pays you way more interest than you're getting in your regular bank, whether it's Wells Fargo or B of A or whatever. That they pay you nothing in interest. And then you want to automate it. This is key. I have talked about this before also, but this is the absolute secret. You don't want to rely on your own willpower to put that money into the bank. You need to set up an automatic transfer that goes from your paycheck hits your checking account. Then as soon as that happens, it is going to transfer that money into your high yield savings account. Whatever that is, $200, $300, $500, $700, as much as you can to build your freedom fund. This is how I was able to save $30,000, and that was a number that I had in my high yield savings account to be able to leave. Now that's not $1 million. That's not going to cover my expenses for a year, but it could probably cover my expenses if I was really frugal for about 6 months. And that was what I felt comfortable with. Your number might be different. You might be comfortable with 20,000. Maybe you need a little bit more, but you need to figure out what that number is and then try to fund it that way. Now it turns out I didn't need that much money. I haven't spent that money. I actually have more than that now in my high yield savings. There were times when I had to dip into it because sometimes I had slower months, like the first couple of months were a little bit slow. I had to dip into that. But then when I made more money on the months that I did, I would build that back up. So I always make sure that I have about that much in my savings, but 30,000 is a good number for me and I felt comfortable with that. And like I said, I didn't have to really even use it. I definitely didn't deplete it. And you may not need to use it either, but it's good to have that cushion. You want to have that security, that peace of mind. And if you want to see the exact money moves that I made before I left my corporate job, I made a whole video on that detailing everything that I did. So I'm going to leave it up here, put a link right here so you can watch that next. And I wish you the best of luck because I hate to see you suffer because I was suffering so badly and it just makes me so sad that so many people are just languishing in their careers that they really, really hate. I want you to remember this. You're a bad mama jamma. You got this, girl. I'm rooting for you. See you in the next video.